welcome to the Good Old Football Podcast. Thanks for tuning in. We've got ourselves a guest this week. If you happen to live in the central Ohio area, you see him on your television screen every single morning on NBC4 Today. It's my pal, Matt Barnes. I used to be on that show with him when I got up at 3 a.m. I got to work at 3 a.m. every day, and now I cannot believe that I lived that life and survived. But he's been doing it for a long time. He's much more of a man than me. I interned for Matt Barnes at Channel 4 along with the great Jared Smalley about, 8 years ago. And we had great times, and then I was honored to become a co-worker with them recently, along with some other greats there at Channel 4 in Columbus. So I hope you enjoy the episode. He is a lifelong Indianapolis Colts fan and follower, so he and I get into the old Phil Rivers thing a little bit. He buys into it. I, of course, do not. We'll also talk about Joseph Burrow and Baker Mayfield. Which one would he take? Those are the two quarterbacks in Ohio. Both have high hopes. Which one does Barnes like, though? That's what America wants to know. No outright gambling, betting stuff that I talk about today. However, some of the stuff I've talked about in the past, he strongly disagrees with, and we'll talk about that a little bit as well. Don't want to give too much away. Go follow Matt on Twitter. Be his friend. He's probably up for some best anchor in Columbus in 614 magazine or something, because those things I think are happening year-round. Go vote for him. Great man, as is everyone there at NBC4. It was fun. Enjoy the conversation. Let me know what you think. Thanks for tuning in to the Good Old Football Podcast. Okay, so when I interned for you in 2012, I believe, do you remember the time when you told me that one day I'd have a podcast about football that I lost money on?
Did I say those exact words?
I mean, I don't even know that we knew what podcasts were back then.
That's what I was going to say. I don't think we knew what a podcast would be. I think we're talking about blogs still.
We might have been. I forgot that blogs even existed.
Blogs were a thing.
And that was a big, we were forced in journalism school to have a blog, as we should have been at the time.
Yeah, you got to be multifaceted, be good at different mediums. Makes sense.
Yep. Had a YouTube channel that, early adopter, really, and it's taken me here.
And look where you are.
Look at where I am. Just to clarify, if I do post this on YouTube, I am not in Columbus. This is the first Zoom. I am not in the press box. The band is not on the field. The fans are not in the stadium. But Matt Barnes, my old friend in Columbus from WCMH-TV, a former sportsman, and you got the Colts hanging up there in the background. Am I crazy for I don't buy the Phillip Rivers hype? People think that I don't think he's that much better than Jacoby Brissett.
Well, he's definitely better than Jacoby Brissett. He can throw a better ball, that's for sure.
At one point.
No, he still can. Here's the thing. Everyone's going to talk about, he's old. The man has been under siege for the last 3 years with an O-line that couldn't block, anybody. So, yeah, now you put him in front of the best O-line in football. I fully expect him to have a fantastic year with the Colts. I'm not saying he's going to be a Pro Bowler, but they didn't need a Pro Bowl quarterback. They just needed a guy that can get the ball down the field making good decisions, who knows what he's doing. Phillip Rivers can do that. I
felt like last year I saw some of the same things with him I saw with Peyton Manning there at the end, where just no zip on the ball. It just dies in the middle of the field.
Well, yeah, that's what happens when you're throwing it off your back foot with no time. Again, he'll have time. He's playing on turf, indoor weather most of the time. It'll be fine. I'm literally, that's the one thing I'm not worried about is Phillip Rivers.
What is the one thing you are worried about?
I'm still worried about our pass defense. Our cornerbacks are not solid. Our safety, while I like Malik Hooker as a former Buckeye and all, he has not had a great NFL career so far. And safeties does not excite me. But thankfully, our division is full of a lot of teams that don't really pass the ball very well. So I feel confident in that.
Yeah, Malik Hooker played on this field right here behind me, of course, which is stupid if you're listening to this only and not watching it.
No one knows what you're talking about.
Because it's probably not going to make it to YouTube. I have got Ohio Stadium behind me. This is the first time I've ever used Zoom, and I'm doing it to record this podcast. Let's put some division out there for you. If you can start a franchise right now, Joe Burrow, Baker Mayfield.
Oh, just like that? I have to pick one or the other?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm picking Joe Burrow in a heartbeat.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Baker Mayfield, I didn't love coming out of college. already. Plucky like all college quarterbacks are or whatever. But he didn't have anything that wowed me in terms of just besides him just being competitive. But yeah, Joe Burrow, he's got like that leadership quality I absolutely love. You saw everything you need to see in that LSU run to the title. Dude just gets it. He's smart, can make all the throws, willing to take the hit, bring the ball down and run. I just think he's got it all. I might be a little biased, but I would absolutely take Joe Burrow over Baker Mayfield any day.
Are you biased more because he's from Athens County or because he went to Ohio State?
The Athens County part, covering him in high school, knowing his dad. The Ohio State thing's cool, but he never played there, so it's hard to get too much allegiance to that part of it.
You know what bothers me insanely, because people are so stupid and just throw anything out there on the internet, is the people who will say he couldn't beat out Dwayne Haskins at Ohio State and now he's a number one pick. Google, just Google. He broke his hand.
Yeah, he was in front of him, and then he broke his hand, and by time he was healthy, Haskins had already beaten Michigan in the Big House in relief of J.T. Barrett. Good luck trying to then convince Buckeye Nation that Haskins shouldn't be the starter. And he was just ahead. This is a fact. So it all worked out for everybody. So everyone calm down. He's still a Buckeye. He graduated, won himself a national championship, took down your mighty Alabama and Clemson. What more did you want the man to do?
Win a Super Bowl in Cincinnati.
And he might be able to do that if, Mike Brown gets rid of the team.
Don't make me cry on the podcast. Let's go back. Are you out on Baker, or do you just like Burrow more? Do you think Baker's still the quarterback there in 5 years?
So I like Burrow more, and I do actually like Baker. Baker has impressed me in the NFL. I just think the Browns have done him dirty in terms of how they've surrounded him with coaching, not talent. I think there's talent around him, but we've seen this too many times with young quarterbacks. You have 2 or 3 or 4 offensive coordinators in your first 3 or 4 years. Good luck trying to have a successful career. It's happened with Marcus Mariota. It's happening, I think, right now at Baker Mayfield. If Freddie would have stayed as offensive coordinator instead of head coach and they just brought someone else in, I think his sophomore year is a lot better in the NFL. But then Freddie went to the head coach, and it just went downhill.
Yeah, it didn't work out with Freddie Kitchens, did it?
It did not.
We were all shocked by that one. People were really lining up to hire that Freddie Kitchens.
Yeah. I just sometimes don't know what the Browns are thinking. I just don't.
Well, I can't even remember his name now. The GM there, who got fired, John Dorsey, was. He just wanted. We don't really have a good read on him, but I think that was, I guess, the narrative that I bought into. I didn't come up with this. Was not an original thought, but the idea that he liked Freddie because he had the power over Freddie. He wasn't bringing someone in who was going to try to run the show, which I get, but that never works.
That's not a way to build an NFL team, though, an NFL winner at least. I mean, I just don't think that's the smart thing to do. You got to bring in a coach that's been there, done that. Like, the Chiefs bringing in Andy Reid. That's worked out for years now. They finally got their Super Bowl, obviously, but I don't think the Hunt family was thinking, oh boy, Andy Reid's been doing this for a long time. He can't have too much power. That's a dumb thing to think. And I think, for all I know, John Dorsey hired Andy Reid. I don't remember the timeline, so it's stupid.
That might be right. I don't know. At any rate, it worked out for the Chiefs getting rid of John Dorsey and keeping. Do you like the Chiefs to repeat?
Ooh, I don't like any team to ever repeat.
I agree.
In the NFL, I don't. Other sports, you can get away with it, but in the NFL, no. I like the Chiefs a lot, but if you put me on the spot right now, I would not pick them to repeat.
Right. You're definitely taking the field. I said last week, as I'm sure you listened to the podcast last week on several occasions, you personally, the only teams I can really see coming out of the AFC are the Chiefs, Ravens, and as much as I hate to say it, the Steelers. I know the Bills are hot, but no one ever does it on that first year when the expectations are there. I just told you I don't really buy into the Colts. Texans, Bill O'Brien, allergic to the playoffs. Am I missing anyone? Is it those three? NFC's wide open.
Yeah, you're missing the Colts.
Not missing the Colts.
No, I think you are. If you're down on Philip Rivers, I'm not. They're a 7-9 team last year that easily could have been 10-6 with a little bit better quarterback play. And I watched all the games agonizingly and saw how the quarterback play could have easily gotten us attendance. I mean, Brian Hoyer was our starter for 2 games. Shockingly, we lost them both.
Well, same issue with the Bengals. They started Ryan Finley for 3 games, and if not for that, I mean, they could have been a wild card team.
They were right there, Matt. No, so I think the Colts. I agree with you with the Steelers because I don't know how they were competitive last year with Duck Hodges. They've been in there. I think you'll be fine. Ravens for sure. Chiefs for sure. I can't think of anyone else. I mean, I you know what? I'm gonna say the Patriots only because if Cam is healthy, if there's a team or a system that can get it out of them, it's them. But I'm not picking them to win the Super Bowl or even the AFC. But I'm still probably leaning them to win the division still.
Interesting. I will. You know how angry I'll be if they get back to like even the AFC Championship once Brady leaves.
I know. But here's the thing: that division is so winnable. It just is. I like the Bills a lot. I do, but it's just the Patriots still have their name. I'm sure, even with half their team sitting out this season.
Right, that's an issue. And on paper, I like Phillip Rivers. Wears bolo ties, has 45 children. His name is Phillip Rivers. He sounds like a country song.
He's pretty much you, just 15 years from now, whatever it is.
Yes, I will be can I have that many kids in 15 years?
I don't know if your fiance will want that, but if you want to, go for it. There's adoption.
That is, I'll run that by her and see what she thinks, and maybe I can sign on with the Colts too if they go 7-9 the year before.
I mean, they're not going 7-9 this year. That's all I know.
All right, let's go back to Dwayne Haskins because this is another thing that bothers me. Where does the hate on him come from? He wasn't that bad last year as a rookie, and I'm actually surprised that more people in Columbus don't seem to be irritated with the idea that he's a bust already.
What I love is how Dwayne Haskins has been declared a bust, but Sam Darnold's still one of the better young quarterbacks in the league. What has he done? I haven't figured that out. I mean, Haskins has 1 year under his belt with a team that was already a mess. He fired head coach halfway through. You know what I mean? Like there's everything was against him to really have a successful first year. No, I'm not down on him at all. They got some pieces around him a little bit better. They have a much more stable coach. But let's see how he does in year 2. I'm not down on him after 1 year.
I agree. I'm not down on him either. I'm just asking, why? Do you know what it is? I can never remember a quarterback who wasn't that bad. The only thing I can think of is that the Redskins are a trash organization. So and there was a whole taking a selfie thing. Big deal. Like there are quarterbacks every week who get 15-yard penalties, which are much more harmful than taking a selfie with a fan.
I think his numbers weren't good. Don't get me wrong. They weren't good. But I mean, if we look back at Daniel Jones's number, were they much better with the Giants? I don't think they were. So no, I mean, if I had to pick between Haskins and Daniel Jones right now, I would still take Haskins. Do I think either of them become Pro Bowl quarterbacks? Probably not. But you can be a really good quarterback in this league for 10 years and never make a Pro Bowl. So that's fine. Did Andy Dalton ever make one?
Oh, yeah. Andy's made, I think, like 17 Pro Bowls at this point in his career. No, he's definitely made quite a few because you got to remember his first 5 years in the league, he was overrated as a rookie.
Yeah, but you have to be one of the top. And when I mean make a Pro Bowl, I mean you're like the top 3 make
right,
a Pro Bowl.
Right, you're not a fourth alternate.
Correct. You're not number 7 on the list that somehow got in.
Yes, Andy Dalton has made a few Pro Bowls. I did pull it up. Daniel Jones last year, which I can't believe he played this much. 3,000 yards, 24 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 87.7 rating. Dwayne Haskins, 1,365 yards, 7 TDs, 7 picks, 76 rating. And while we're here, Andy Dalton Pro Bowls, I'm going to guess 4.
Ooh.
3.
Okay, 3. Again, well, I bet you 2 of those are subs, but who knows?
Yeah, probably. And he definitely earned that one in 2015, but we don't talk about that season.
No need. We look forward, not backward.
Do what?
We look forward, not backward.
We do look forward. This is as exciting as I've been for a Bengals season in, probably since I was born, maybe. I don't know.
Can I just throw some water on that, though, real quick?
Yes.
Yeah. Don't get too excited.
I'm not too excited, but I'm less excited about the whole Joe Burrow thing because I know rookie quarterbacks will take time to develop. I'm more excited about what they have on the defensive side of the ball. They totally flipped over the linebacker room, which has been bad for a while now. And they've got that going for them. And they just they finally got rid of some guys who, Drake Kirkpatrick was back there and he's one of those guys who was never that bad, but it's so frustrating. It's the same thing with Tyler Eifert. You're always waiting for him to show that flash that you saw for a second, and I'm just glad I don't have to wait on that anymore.
I mean, I was impressed the fact you guys spent some money in free agency. That was interesting. And there's some overall excitement. I think if you get to 6 wins, that's a amazing season for Cincinnati.
I don't know. I feel better. I'm not saying, I'll be okay with 6. I won't be mad about 6.
I mean, what do you expect?
I mean, they've got a very soft schedule. I mean, if you can get 6, I'll be like, okay, good. 8, I'll be happy and I'll feel much better.
Well, you're not going better than 2 and 4 in your division already. So
I do not agree with that.
Where are you stealing? You're stealing one from the Ravens or Steelers?
Yeah, that's doable.
Okay. I wouldn't go there.
I don't know. It's tough to tell now with Zach Taylor. The thing you got to think, my whole life's pretty much been Marvin. Marvin always had some kind of weird beat on the Steelers or on the Ravens. He always got pushed around by the Steelers, but on the Ravens, he always had something. I don't know if it's because he was there or what, but the Bengals upset them a lot. Okay, 2 and 4. We'll do 2 and 4 in the division. But outside of that, I know Vegas isn't high on them, so take that in consideration as well.
You just take the 6 and 10 lumps this year, and then you're off to the races. You're fine.
That's true. That is very true. Give me. I'll let you go here in a minute. Give me a surprise team this year. I know I didn't tell you about any of these in advance. Mine has been. I've got a couple. The one that I don't think they'll win the division, but I like them as a division long shot at plus 1,600. And I'm not asking you for gambling advice. You're a professional newsman, of course. But I look at the the Washington football team, as we now call them, and arguably the best coach in the division. In the event that Dwayne Haskins isn't good, you've got Alex Smith right there. We know that Carson Wentz in Philly, not able to stay on the field. I don't believe in Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying they're a playoff team, but I think they could go 8-8, which would surprise a lot of people. Do you have anyone in mind?
So the team that I'm intrigued on, the problem is I don't like the coach, but I think I like enough talent to think they could be a surprise, is Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
I am not a Cliff Kingsbury fan by any means, but I saw enough from Kyler Murray as my fantasy quarterback last year that won me a championship somehow. That was bizarre. Mainly Christian McCaffrey did, but Kyler was my quarterback.
Glad you could drop that in there.
I wanted to throw that in for sure. And I saw enough, and then adding DeAndre, which I don't know what Bill O'Brien's thinking.
Well, he was drunk at the time.
Clearly. I just think that makes that offense really dynamic. And if their defense can just do enough, I also think it's a very winnable division. I know
it's
people
the best division in football.
And that's what people will say. The Rams still don't impress me. They're so top-heavy. The depth is gone, and it's old. The 49ers, I have a feeling, might suffer that Carolina Panthers Super Bowl swoon, where they got there, and, they were so great, defense, and then, they lose a guy like DeForest Buckner, who's on my team now, and Jimmy G. He didn't have a great year. He just was okay. I just feel like all those guys take a step back. And then Seattle's going to be typical 9-7, 10-6 be right there. But look out for Arizona. They could be 9-7, 10-6 as well, and just surprise some teams by maybe getting second or first place in that division.
All right, that's interesting. I said 2 weeks ago I like the Rams as a long shot because Vegas does not like them at all either. And for a team that was in the Super Bowl 2 years ago, but we see that all the time. Teams get to the Super Bowl, falls apart quick. Jacksonville was a play away from it 3 years ago, and look at them now. It
for a little bit, it's been an NFC West problem, though. You've seen Arizona get to the Super Bowl, lose, kind of not fall apart, but kind of fall off the wagon a little. San Fran, I think, is doing it this year. The Rams, I think, did it last year. I don't know what it is, but these NFC West teams get to the Super Bowl. They look great. You can say they're the favorite to win, and then kind of take a step back.
And you think it's the Cardinals' turn with old Cliff, who couldn't beat Kansas State, so he got him an NFL head coaching job.
I mean, the guy has fallen up his whole career. I don't get it.
I don't get it. Pays to look like a movie star, I guess.
It does. But if I pick an AFC team, if you're forcing me to, which you're not, but I'm doing it anyways.
Okay.
It would likely either be, and it's out of the West as well, either Denver or the Raiders.
Yes, I like Oakland as well, or Las Vegas as well. Can I get a team name right here today?
It is definitely Las Vegas now.
I am right there with you. And then with Denver, a lot of people like Drew Lock. I didn't see enough of him, but
I just like the way Denver finished the season with Drew Lock. They played really strong down the stretch, which gave me hope about what they could do next year. I always think that's a bigger deal than people give him credit for, is how you finish the season when you put a young quarterback in. And I thought they finished the year really strong.
Bengals got to win in Week 17, worth noting as well. Are you not able – I know you went to Denver. I know you went to Denver like 2 years ago. Are you not going to be able to do your tradition of going on a road game this year?
Yeah, so this year's road game was going to be Colts at Browns, and I don't know what they're going to do with fans in Cleveland yet. I don't think they've announced their plan yet, besides maybe no games in September or fans. So I don't think it's going to happen. I think we're going to have to take a year off, and then we'll try to knock out 2 Colts road games in 2021.
Got a double dip. All right.
Yeah. This was an easy one to do, though, too. I mean, you had the Browns and Steelers this year. I mean, I could have been there and back in the same day.
But you've probably been to both those stadiums already, right?
I've not been inside Browns Stadium because there's no reason to. And then I've only been inside Heinz Field for the OU Pittsburgh game.
What do you mean there's no reason to go into first? You don't like being smushed between 2 guys eating cheese sticks and drinking Miller Lite?
You know me. I'm a very positive, optimistic person. Why go into the Factory of Sadness?
This is very true. That's you got to avoid that place at all costs.
Yeah.
All right.
I have been to Paul Brown and Riverfront, Synergy, whatever you want to call it. But
same.
Yeah.
I have been to all.
It wasn't that sad.
It was what?
It wasn't as sad.
No, I actually saw Jerry Rice and Steve Young beat the Bengals at Riverfront Stadium.
I saw Mark Brunell and Keenan McCardell and Jimmy Smith.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fred Taylor too, probably, right?
Fred Taylor was on that team, yeah.
All right.
Final score was 7-0. Barn burner.
Yeah, mine actually was a barn burner, and it was the Bengals lost, but this was in the mid-'90s. So the fact that they were competitive with Steve Young's 49ers, it was actually one of those ones where, like, they lost, but we left and my dad was happy because it's like, at the time, the Bengals were literally – I mean, if you're listening to this podcast this long especially, you know what the Bengals were like in the 90s. But I still specifically remember seeing Jerry Rice catch a long touchdown, and it was a lot cooler back then too, because I remember the first time I went to an NFL game was in Tampa Bay when I lived in Florida, and I remember getting to the game and being amazed at how, like, clear the field and the players looked, because this was before high-def television.
Yep.
And I think that's why going to games kind of sucks now. Like, it's not nearly as cool because back then you would never – I mean, they looked like they were out of a video game.
Yeah, between the players, or the high definition, and the sound you can get at home, and the fact that you can have your fancy lineup right in front of you the entire time, going to a game is not nearly as exciting.
No, it is not. Never leaving the house again. All right, anything else you wanted to bring up?
That's for other reasons, I guess. No. I just want you to believe in Phillip Rivers. If not, I'll curse you out like Phillip Rivers, which means I won't curse.
Again, all things I like about him. He's in theory, it's not him I don't like. I'm not buying into it.
Well, if they start the year 6-2, will you buy in?
Oh, sure. Well, it'll depend on how he looks. But yes.
All right, because their schedule is very winnable.
Okay.
Very winnable. I mean, that division's winnable already, unless you believe in Ryan Tannehill, which I don't.
No, I don't either, and I've that's kind of the same thing. Teams get hot sometimes. I don't think the Titans are a bad team. I think Mike Vrabel is going to be an awesome head coach, although I don't know if that high energy thing works for that long, but he's more than that too. But, yeah, I'm with you. I like the way the Titans finished. It made it very interesting. It was a lot of fun. I just don't buy into the fact that they're a contender.
Correct. yeah, if the Colts don't win this division by more than 2 games, I'll be shocked.
Shocked,
really. I think the Texans are not good. Deshaun Watson's great. The Texans overall, not buying them. Titans, I think, are your perennial 8-8 team that plucks their way into the 7th spot in the wild card, maybe. And the Jaguars may be the worst team in football in the last 10 years here this year. So even worse than that Browns 0-16 team, possibly. We'll see.
Yeah, that's the thing about Jacksonville, though. They've been to 2 AFC championships, I think, in like the last 10 years.
Oh.
It's one of those things where at least they've done some things, like people forget that they've magically been solid from time to time. I like them on the over this year. I like them to get more than 4.5 wins.
You're kidding.
It's a soft division. Everyone's telling them. We saw this last year with Miami. Everyone says, hey, you guys suck. You guys are going to be terrible. That's all that team's heard all offseason is how terrible they're going to be.
They really are terrible. That's the thing.
So was Miami going into last year. They won 6 games.
Yeah, here's the difference, though, with Miami. Miami had a veteran quarterback, Ryan Fitzpatrick. Miami had a new coach that brought in a lot of new energy. Jacksonville has neither of those things.
You mean Doug Marrone doesn't have a lot of energy?
It's the same guy talking to him that they're just like, okay, that's enough. And I think, unlike Miami, Jacksonville really wants to lose because they really want Trevor Lawrence.
I don't know. I think
Miami wasn't sold on who they definitely wanted. Jacksonville had a clear objective to get a quarterback.
What if Gardner Minshew goes out there and balls out?
Well, if Gardner Minshew goes out there and balls out, then I will gladly grow a stash like Gardner Minshew.
All right. I just shaved mine yesterday. I don't know if you saw. I was rocking it there.
Yeah, I was actually really excited to see you with this mustache today, and it was because your mustache is Gardner-esque when it comes in, and you're letting me down here.
I'm sorry. I can't keep it because anytime I go out in public, people stare at me and they're like, is that a model? And I'm like, guys, I'm just out here living life. I'm going to cut this part out. But
what's happening with the hair, though? It looks long.
It is very long.
Okay.
I haven't got it cut since March. That's why I've got a hat on. It looks insane all the time.
Wow. Hey, let's cut that before football season, right?
Why?
It's time to turn over a new leaf. It's a new year when the football season kicks off. September 10th, let's go.
It's a lot cheaper to not cut it, though.
Wow. With wisdom like that, I can't believe you don't work at the United Nations.
Well, maybe I will someday. If someone, when I was an intern, would have directed me toward the United Nations instead of start a podcast where you don't make any money, maybe I'd be there right now.
Not direct you toward this.
Okay.
Get it to yourself.
All right. Thank you for coming on. Anything you want to plug, add, tell me about?
Let's go Bobcats and Buckeyes. It's going to be a great football season for them both. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, about that.
Remember a few minutes ago when you said you were about happiness and positivity? What else have you lied about on this podcast?
Nothing. Except that we're best friends.
Oh, that burns. We are going to be. I'll tell you more about that later. I started to go off on a tangent that no one except you and I will care about, so I'll just stop, and we will talk soon. Thanks for coming on.
Anytime, Edward.
All right, I'll see you soon. Bye.
Goodbye.